Alright guys, well I just want to get on here and say how sorry I am for how long this is taking. Been waiting on parts. I took a little weekend trip to Kansas. It's been taking me a while, and I've just been a little slack. Couldn't get some parts in. Some stuff I was working on didn't work out, like these forks here. Couldn't get them apart. Had to take them up to a dirt bike repair shop. They said that they worked on those kind of forks before. They could get them apart for me, so I took those in a couple days ago. I'm waiting to hear on them. They said it could be a week or so. So yeah, I'm just trying to get the video out. I think I'm not going to actually add any more content in for this one. It might be kind of short, but it'll just show you what's up, what I've been working on here. I've got the wheels and tires for the back of the 350. The wheels and tires for the back there. And I've got a new exhaust for it. I've got a new seat cover for it. A bunch of stuff. If you hear anything, that's my brother riding his 250. So, yeah. And, you'll have to wait for another video to see those. Also, you couldn't tell, I'm using my new camera. I bought a camera. Look at it. I said I was going to get it. So, hopefully I'll be able to capture more angles and stuff like that. It's got like a chest mount. So like now, like hopefully when I work on stuff, y'all can see what I'm doing. But tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like the new angles. The other time I was just using a stick to hold it. So I'll definitely be trying to get more content out here for y'all. But I think I'm going to roll right into some pre-recorded content I have that kind of goes over what all I've got done since last video. It also runs a little bit over what's happening with the 200X. I'm trying to decide if I want to finish this first or I want to keep focusing on the 350. If you have any opinions, let me know in the comments, and I will try to get out more content on one or the other. I'll definitely see. Here in about 2 months, some sand dunes to the southwest open that we really like to go to, kind of on a lake. So I definitely want at least one of them running by that time, hopefully sooner than that, because I've been missing not having something to ride. I did have a 250SX that I sold, and then that very afternoon I went and picked up the 350, so you know how that is. I will definitely be working on more content. And I might even put out a short or two riding my brother's 250SX. He has that running. And I want to get a little bit of content out of actual riding, because I want to, hopefully after I get these done, like get these finished up and running, I'll do content on riding, maybe racing them, stuff like that. Alright guys, I decided to do a little update here. It's been taking a while for me to get some parts in. Some got delayed. Some the order canceled for some reason. I had to reorder them. But as of now, I've got quite a few things working on. I just got the forks removed. They're sitting over here. I've already started disassembling them. Got these snap rings. There's some snap rings you got to take out of there, then pull them apart. I'm about ready to do that. Put new seals in there. Put new fork oil. Clean them up before I do that, of course. There's some sand all pushed in the tops here underneath the dust seals. So those dust seals will get replaced. I'll put those blue fork boots on to hopefully keep dust and sand from getting in there. And hopefully this front brake caliper will work. When I took off the brake line, it started spilling what looked like pretty clean fluid out of there. So I'm hopeful if this front brake will work. I'll just re-bleed the lines. I put a new handle up here because the old one wasn't working. So hopefully the line isn't clogged and I can just bleed them and the front brake will work fine. I did get some parts for the back brakes. You can see I took the rear wheels off. They were shot anyways. I toyed around with the idea of repainting these. These are smaller than stock. This is an 8-inch, 20 by 9.5 by 8. I'm putting on stock size 22 by 11 by 9s. I've got those on the way. But I'm toying around with the idea of repainting these to a silverish color. I just sprayed some on to see how it looked, and putting some smaller paddles on there, maybe some 20-inch or maybe even 18-inch paddle tires. That way, if I ever decide to go out to some sand dunes, we have some about an hour from here. It's not really dunes, it's just a lake. There's a lake with kind of some sand hills coming off of it that are fun to ride around in. And we're about an hour and 45 minutes from the Little Sahara sand dunes in northwestern Oklahoma. I definitely want to go there. So if I'm going to be doing that quite a bit, I'm definitely going to want some paddle tires. I thought about putting some smaller than stock size paddle tires. That will give me some better gearing. It'll help me start out better. Not have to burn the clutch as much, that's for sure. And they'll float better, ride better. I've got the rear brakes in motion, that's for sure. I'm waiting on a new rear line. I believe I've got all the hardware to put the caliper on, to put the reservoir on right here, and the master cylinder, and get it hooked up to the brake pedal. And so I'm just waiting on the line so I can bleed it. But this line might work, but just for the fact it's been sitting open for how long makes me think that it's probably not worth much. Any amount of dust, whatever get in there, I don't want that in my brake system. A new line wasn't that expensive. And so I've just got a new line too. The line is the delayed part though, that's what I'm waiting on. It's been delayed in California for a while. It didn't come from out of state, out of country. It came from California, not sure why it got delayed. And the carb, that's what I want to talk about now. I did clean it, I did try to fix it, but unfortunately this choke lever, it runs, but it does nothing. It does not work. And I'm afraid it's stuck on choke, or some of the internal passages are messed up, because I took this down as far as it could go and cleaned as much of it as I could, and I just can't get it to work. Every time I try to add some fuel to it, it just takes all the fuel, it just drinks it way too fast, and immediately floods the engine. And if you'll wait and let the gas clear out, spray it with a little starting fluid, it'll start right up. But when you try to add gas to it, it just floods and will not run. It won't even start. So there is a company called 223 Cycle, or 223 Cycle, out of Tennessee. They make a 400EX carb conversion. Lots of people do them. I know they've had really good luck with them. They say, see, these are just pure gravity feed. And the 223 Cycles 400EX carbs have an accelerator pump or a diaphragm or whatever it's called. So people have reported them starting way easier on cold mornings, cold starting way easier, hot starting way easier, and just generally running better. They don't really add any power. They're a little bit bigger carb. And but paired with the exhaust I'm planning to do, I have a DG exhaust on the way. Obviously I'm putting a uni intake on there. But it should be a little more power, especially paired with a properly jetted carb. And that is one thing why 223 Cycle really excels. You tell them your mods, the three-wheeler you have, everything, and they will go through that carb and jet it perfectly for your exact setup, which makes me really, I really like that idea, because I've been having trouble with this carb. I've had trouble with other carbs I've tried to jet, and so if they know what they're doing and jet it perfectly, that's worth something to me. And they also will sell you this boot right here that fits the 400EX carb, because you have to change it. It's got a little bit bigger one, I think. And also, let me take this rear seat off. They will sell you a reproduction aftermarket, something that they make or they get a hold of. It's bigger here, but it's the same size here. They'll sell you this intake boot tube, but it's modified. It's not modified, it's actually a whole new one. I think they 3D printed out of flexible TPU or something. And it fits both ends fine. It fits onto a stock airbox. But that is unfortunately out of stock. And I've been trying to get a hold of them. If any of y'all know how to get a hold of them, let me know in the comments. But I'll try again maybe later today and see if I can get a hold of them. But I want to know when they'll have those back in stock, because I'm definitely interested in this option. But it's hardly worth it if I can't get it hooked up to an airbox. So there is guys that report just cutting this off and just clamping a bigger tube over both sides. I might explore that idea if they say they can't get the tube back in stock, because I definitely want to do this carb. But if they have that boot in stock, I will definitely be buying it. Yeah, so that's about it for that. The tank, I unfortunately encountered a small hole right here. I have just put some silicone on it, and it was leaking right along the bottom here on this seam. Put some silicone on that. That is just temporary. I'll do the electrolysis, clean the inside out. So you can see I already started cleaning up the outside. Unfortunately, it looks like it got dented. There's a little Bondo on here, but I'm just going to smooth it up, prime, and paint over it. And so you can see there's a little Bondo on the front. I had to take a little bit of it off because it was already chipping off anyways. I got some new Bondo. I'll smooth that all out. Hopefully get that looking good. And I bought a new seat cover for it. And I'm trying to think if that's about all I have going for it. But sorry this took so long, guys. This might be even longer. I might just wait a couple days, see if I can get a little more content in. See if I get a few more things. Update on the forks, see if I can get those fixed up. Maybe the tank in there, some stuff like that. But I'll try to keep putting them out for you. I know I'm excited about this build. I hope y'all are too. But yeah, until next time. Well, I'll do a little update on this. Put it in this video here, maybe at the end or the beginning or something. But like I said, the clutch is worn out. I've diagnosed that. I've got the springs and the plates here. It's ready for rebuild. But I was just hesitant to get into it because I was having other issues that I didn't really know how to fix and that I was confused on. It's like, see how this clutch lever has some weird play in it? And I was like, what is that from? And like, this thing will shift up in gears just fine, but it doesn't want to shift down, which was strange to me because like you could shift up just fine, but it only shift down one gear from the highest gear you're in. So if you went to fourth, you can only go back to third. If you went to fifth, you can only go back to fourth. And I was like, why is that? But then I realized that it's probably the shift fork return spring over here, which I can access at the same time I'm doing the clutch. And so I bought one of those. I have it on the way. It should hopefully fix it. Like, just to give you all a little visual diagram, there's like a star-shaped wheel in here with like 5 prongs, whatever, 1 for each gear, almost. Maybe it's 6, I'm not sure. And there is a little thing that looks kind of like this that slides over each prong of the gear and will shift like this and shift it. But the spring, if the spring doesn't pull it in tightly, it'll just wiggle loose over here. It won't want to shift. And so I think it's that spring that sucks it into that little star-shaped gear or whatever and helps it shift. I think that spring is broken or worn. Probably happened during the rebuild when we were messing with it. So I got one of those on the way, and hopefully this thing will be up and running. I'm gonna clean the carb again because it was breaking up a little bit. I think that's just because I don't have a filter to the fuel tank. This fuel tank, it is pretty clean. I'll try to show y'all what it's like inside. It's surprisingly clean. Probably can't really see. It is surprisingly rust-free, but that doesn't mean that it's fully clean or that the fuel I'm getting is clean. So I'm gonna put a filter in the fuel line. Hopefully that'll solve the issue with the carb continually getting dirty. And also, I did buy a POV camera, so hopefully I'll get y'all some footage riding on this one and also this one whenever it gets running. But yeah, that's the update on this one. That's all I have, I think.